Okay, so I know that there's probably a thing that we all want to talk about right away, but need everyone to just keep it together, because I want to talk about Rufus/Sora first, then we'll talk about the thing, okay? Okay, but with that said, hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another one of our weekly My Next Life as a Villainess X discussion videos. Today we're here to talk all about episode 4, I Had Friendly Tea Time with an Attractive Butler. But before we get into the video proper, quick reminder if you haven't done so yet, to hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, set notifications to all, let all of AnyTube know that you're here, and without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into this thing, and oh, wow. So a lot happens this week, like a lot, and it was very spicy, okay? It was a very spicy episode. I think the biggest takeaway for me personally was probably everything with Sora/Rufus, and I'm gonna quickly just address the fact that this man's name is Sora, so let me just say, before I say anything else, that when Sora walks away, he doesn't hear me say, please, oh baby, don't go. Because simple and clean, it's the way that you're making me feel tonight, and it's hard to let it go. Sorry, I had to do the whole thing. But yeah, no, his name is Sora, I had to, I'm sorry. But Rufus is great. Like, Rufus, I'm gonna call him Rufus because I can't call him Sora. Like, I know that his real name is Sora, but, well, not his real name, but his original name that he gets given by his buddy, his, mentor type character. He gives him the name Sora because of his eyes. I can't call him that because it's just gonna make me think of Sora, so I gotta call him Rufus. Now, mind you, Rufus does make me think of a naked mole rat, but it's still better. So I'm going to be going with Rufus, because if I think of Sora, it's just going to totally change the way I view the character, and it's going to make me love him even more, and that's not necessary considering he's absolutely fantastic this week. This man, easy Husbando material. I don't know if you guys know this, but in a few days, this version of me will cease to exist, and I will become a butler-type character. Yeah, and Rufus is that type. I clearly have a type. Rufus is absolutely Husbando material. Like, top tier butler status until suddenly he's not, and he's this, suave, sophisticated, not even sophisticated, suave, sort of Han Solo-esque type character. And I'm here for it. It's great. I loved everything they did with Rufus. Rufus's whole character was just, I have no other words other than, the man was hot. It was just top tier. But what I appreciated is that, when we see this switch into sort of a more suave, sort of, renegade type character, right? Sort of a, rebel without a cause type character. He's still very much, serving somebody, but you see that he's, more, he's not quite butlery and far more, of, yeah, a Han Solo type, a swindler type, right? But when we get the backstory, it all makes a lot of sense. Right? We see how he ended up getting into the position that he's in, right? Where he was sort of this, street kid who was, riff-raff, street rat. I don't buy that. But, he was in a lot of songs today. He was sort of like a street rat, right? And he was in the slums, and he was making his way downtown, walking fast. Faces past, he was homebound. And, sorry. I'll stop, I promise. And he meets this guy, this green-haired dude who we don't really know that well. At least I don't know him. He might have shown up. There's a lot of characters who were ended up being different characters this week. But he shows up and he's this sort of mentor character to Rufus, and he gives him the name Sora since Rufus didn't have a name prior to that. And he gives him the name Sora because of his blue eyes. Now, Sora just meaning I believe it's just sky. Right? Yeah, Sora means sky. I think Riku means land, and Kairi means water. I don't remember. Sora just is sky, right? Sora is sky. So that's where he gets the name from because of his eyes, right? And it makes sense too. It's because later we see Katarina give him a crystal that's just as blue as the sky, right? And it's sort of the promise between the two. And this backstory. And sad, because of course, this mentor character, he's from, the outside world, and he regales him with all these stories and all this stuff. But unfortunately, he's in the slums, and he gets sick. And when you're in the slums, not a whole lot you can do. And my guess is that this dude was probably, like, ejected from noble society, and that's why he didn't have the funds to pay for medicine that he needed or whatever, and he ends up pretty much dying. Like, we don't see him die, but it's very heavily implied that he dies. And Rufus tries to get him medicine, but he ends up getting caught, and that's more than likely what eventually leads him into getting taken away and sort of, you know, sent into a sort of slavery type of role, because he is essentially like he is indebted to his master, whoever that is, and he does say, like, at one point, like, that he is thankful that he at least gets to travel the world and eat nice food and wear nice clothes, but he is in service to this master, who we don't know, right? And I have no clue who... Sorry, I was catching a bug. I have no clue who this master is, but I am very curious to know if it's somebody that we have already met, or at least somebody who we know must exist. Because my guess, and this is just me speculating, is that whoever he's working for, whoever his master is like... My guess is that it's King Stuart, right? Like, it's whoever, like Alan and Gerald's and Ian and Jeffrey's father is. Because for some reason, Rufus's master wants Jeffrey on the throne. And I don't know why that could be, other than they want to, like, manipulate Jeffrey. Because no offense to Jeffrey, he is voiced by Koyasu, and I love him already. But of the characters who we have seen, he seems like the least likely to be a good king. I think Ian would make a better king. Or honestly, I think Gerald would make a really good king. But Jeffrey seems more like the king's brother, you know, like, he seems like a fun dude, right? Like, he doesn't really strike me as, like, king material. So I would be curious if we maybe already knew who Rufus's who Rufus's master was. I'd be very curious about that. However, you know, the biggest thing that surprised me with Rufus, biggest thing, was that this man got spicy. This man got extra spicy with our girl Katerina. I didn't see that coming. That shocked the hell out of me. My partner and I were watching this, and they were screaming, and I was just losing my mind. Like, I was just in shock. Because Rufus, like, picks her up like it's a friggin' Otome game, and because it is, as soon as I said that out loud, I'm like, well, that's because it is. Picks her up like it's an Otome game, lays her down on the bed, gets on top, and gives a little kiss on the neck. And I was like, oh, damn. Oh, damn. He gave that girl a hickey. God damn. All right. Rufus, I see you. I see you, Rufus. But you know who else I see this week? You know who else I give respect to? Who else I have to give my credit to? Gerald. Because I see you, Gerald. I see you. Let's talk about it. They fucking kissed. Pardon my French, but I was like, ah! Like, when that happened, I lost my mind. I couldn't believe that happened. Like, someone actually kissed her, and this wasn't like last time where Gerald kissed her because she was unconscious and he was scared that he was gonna lose her. This isn't like Rufus kissing her on the neck, but her thinking it was a bug bite because she's Baccarina and she's not smart. Like, no, there is no other way that she could possibly read this. I'm sure she's gonna, because she's Baccarina, but, like, Katerina sees him kiss her in front of everyone. Like, it happens, right? And to me, that was the biggest, like, stay mad, Keith! Like, I love Keith, but my least favorite ship, in fact, like, I actively don't like it, is Keith and Katerina. I hate that ship. Like, it is the only one that I would be, like, really annoyed with if it became canon, right? Like, that's the one that I'd be like, no, don't like it. And then Nicole and Katerina, I'd be like, eh. Right? Like, it wouldn't be my favorite, but it'd be fine. The other ships, I'd be more than fine with. Every other ship on the show is great. But that moment where he kisses Katerina in front of everyone. Oh my God, Gerald. Geraldo, if I might use his Japanese pronunciation. Because his name is Gerald. Chad. I see you comment section. Like, everybody being like, his name is Gerudo. No, it's not. His name is Gerald. You weebs. His name is Gerald. Like, that's how it's pronounced. His name is Gerald. It's just in Japan, it's pronounced Gerudo. That's it. But yeah, Gerald gets in. Gerald kisses my girl. He's batting 100. He looking like an absolute king, and he just says, like, you know what? I'm sick of waiting. Like, I'm not gonna let anybody else take you away. And he just kisses her in front of everyone, and everyone is shocked. And Keith and Mary look absolutely pissed. I'm not gonna lie, I feel a little bit bad for Mary. Because my big ship for most of seasons, like 1 and the first little bit of season 2, was Alan and Katarina, or Mary and Katarina. But this season made me go, like, you know what? I really like Alan and Mary a lot more. And so that sort of left me with, like, Maria and Katarina, which I do like a lot as well. Like, I really like Maria and Katarina. That's good. Sophia and Katarina, super cute. Or Sirius and Katarina, right? Like, those were all, like, contenders. Gerald was always a contender, but not one that I, like, recognized. Now, I'm Team Gerald. Like, I'm Team Gerald Katarina. Like now I'm like, that's my ship right there. Yep, that's the one. That's the one I like. That's the one. It's either Gerald and Katarina or Rufus/Sora and Katarina. Because Rufus and Katarina's dynamic is also cute, and I like it a lot. But Gerald, I'm like, you know what, man? Good on you. Good on you. That's fine. You know, like, I understand. I vibe. It is a vibe, right? I understand. I can see maybe, like, that would mean that Maria doesn't have anybody, but at the same time, Maria might get together with Rufus, right? Because technically, Maria's the main character anyway, so she would have been the one in that position anyway, you know? Like, she would have been the one who might have hooked up with Rufus, you know? So, right? Like, that might be a thing anyway. Maybe Rufus and Maria. That dynamic would actually work quite well, and then that means that Gerald and Katarina is the way, because it is the way. I was still shocked. Like, I'm still so shocked. I can't believe that happened. I can't get over that. That was so wonderful. Oh, there is one other thing we should talk about. So Lana, I believe was her name, or like something like that. The other maid who was at the house, who was going by a different name, shows up, right? A few times twice in the episode, right? We've seen her show up here and there, and we know that Katarina says, like, I feel like I've seen her somewhere before. So I'm thinking, like, okay, how does she know her? Right? Like, who is this person? Right? Like, is it going to be someone we know? Is it someone from, like, the past that we're going to meet later on, like in a flashback or something? But no, as it turns out, it is very much somebody we know. And that somebody is Susanna Randall, who, if you don't remember, is Jeffrey's fiance. So I was like, oh, I should have seen that coming. I should have seen that coming, but I didn't. So I was like, oh, because, like, when she hugs her and she goes, I told you I'd hug you the next time we saw each other. The next time I saw you, I would hug you. And I was like, okay. And so my partner and I, we were like, wait, and we jump back to episode 1, and they point out, like, oh, look, and that's the scene where it's, like, at the tail end, Susanna says, like, I could hug you like that. I wish I could hug you like that, too. Well, maybe the next time we meet. And it's like, oh, shit. Like, Susanna is Larna. That's friggin' cool. And Larna, as it turns out, is a member of the Ministry of Magic. So it's like, oh, shit. Like, that's super cool. Like, that's how they knew about Sirius and all that. Or they're the ones who knew about Sirius, and, like, they're the ones helping Sirius and all that. So that's super cool. And Larna's, like, a badass, right? Like, she shows up with, like, these 2 other mages, and she's like, all right, Rufus, jig is up, and I see you've already understood that you're not walking out of here, right? And Rufus has a cute moment where he's like, I'm gonna keep this as a memory, I'm gonna keep this as our promise, right? And Katarina's like, yeah. So that's cool. But my big thing, and this is the biggest thing, right? Like, this episode finishes like this little mini arc, but leaves you with so many questions. right? Like, and everybody has like a question, right? Like, how is everyone going to react to the fact that Gerald just kissed Katarina in front of everybody? Who is the person that Rufus is working for? Why do they want Jeffrey on the throne? And with Larna, the big question is, or Susanna, I suppose, the big question is, okay, does she know what the plan was, right? Like, does she know that Rufus was sent there as a way to get Jeffrey on the throne? Does she think Jeffrey's involved? Does she know that? Was she gonna warn Jeffrey? Like, there's a bunch of questions that are sort of left hanging at the end of the episode, and I am so excited to see where we go. This is the best episode of this season so far, and when I say like this season, I don't mean like this season of Baccarina. No, I mean like this anime season. Like, this is the best episode, because like so many good twists, so many good turns, so much drama, so much spicy. Oh man, I'm glad that I haven't debuted yet, so that I could be extra hyper, because when we do the debut, spoilers, the new character ain't very hyper. But yeah, I'm glad I got to be hyper at least one last time. Yeah, this episode was sick. I can't wait to show you guys the new character, by the way. You're gonna love it. I'm already in love with him. But yeah, that's about it. That's gonna wrap up today's video here. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to boop that up snoot, share if you care, leave a comment down below, and of course, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and set notifications to all. Let all of AndyTube know that you're here. And of course, before we go, as always, I want to give a big thank you to the good folks in the T Squadron. Look at these beautiful people. Look at all of these beautiful names. And hey, if you would like to join these beautiful people, there are 2 ways to do so. The first is by hitting that join button right beside the sub button. It gets you a badge next to your name and some emotes to spam in the comments. And of course, your name scrolling past the screen here. Or for just a single $1, you could check out our Patreon page and get your name scrolling past the screen. Either way, it is a super big help, and it is very much appreciated. So once again, a big thank you to the good folks of the T Squadron. And that is it for me. So until next time, bye!